To go now to some new polling that confirms when it comes to issues of concern in Australia right now, the message for the Albanese government is pretty clear. People are worried about cost of living and, yeah, you guessed it, cost of living. James Mathias is from the Menzies Research Centre, who joins me now. Thanks for joining us, James. You've done this regular Compass polling, and one of the things you asked about is what do you think the government should be most focused on right now? And let's look at the results here. You know, there's 10% on climate change or 10% on healthcare, but way up at 59%, nearly 60%, people go straight to cost of living. It's so clear that that's the number one issue around the country.
Incredibly clear, and what we can also see is that, say, The Voice or a referendum on the monarchy is hardly keeping Australians up at night, although you wouldn't see that from watching the ABC. In fact, out of the 1,050 people that we polled, and we looked hard, Chris, but we found 3 people, 2 Labor supporters and 1 Greens voter, who thought that the government should be focusing in on the voice to Parliament over the cost of living. And then if you dig a little bit deeper into the data, of course, what we can see is that with cost of living, the main concerns are grocery prices, mortgage prices, and then petrol prices, which again, it has a significant impact after the levy was removed yesterday.
Yeah, now the big one too is mortgages, of course, because we're expecting another interest rate rise from the RBA next month. And you've asked people about this, what people are doing with their spending, how the mortgage rate increases are affecting them. And if we look at this pie chart here, you've got 16% of people saying that they're going to be fine. Then in the red, you've got about 10% of people say they're not going to be able to make their mortgage repayments anymore. And then the great majority of people in those 2 bottom slices of the pie, that adds up to over 70% of people, nearly 3/4 of people. They say they're going to be okay to keep paying their mortgage, but they're going to have to cut back pretty significantly, even drastically, on their other spending. This is the big crunch that's going to be hitting us over the summer months.
Oh, Chris, it's massive, and it's incredibly concerning when you put it through this context. During the US subprime mortgage crisis, the default rates were about 9.3%. Our polling shows that 1 in 10 Australians, 10% of people, won't be able to make their mortgage payments. And just to put that into comparison for you, the difference between an average mortgage on 2% compared to 6% interest rates is an additional $17,000. That's $17,000 that households on an average mortgage need to find to be able to make repayments over the coming months as interest rates increase. Now, that's chilling in any effect. And what you say is now over 2/3 of people say that they're going to have to drastically reduce their spending because of these inflationary pressures. This is an enormous problem that the government is facing. And what the first poll shows is that they should be focusing so hard on this over other woke agenda items.
All right, great. Thanks for joining us, James. I appreciate it. James Mathias here from Menzies Research Centre.